Have you ever wanted to pray, but suddenly, you just couldn't find the words? Maybe you found yourself sitting there with a heavy heart, trying so hard to find something to say, but nothing came out. That moment when you want to express yourself so much, but you feel empty, like language itself has left you. This happens to all of us, sometimes in the hardest moments of life. Maybe you've been so overwhelmed by worry, sadness, or even fear that your mind just froze. You sit in silence, staring blankly, and you wonder if this silence stops your prayers. Can God hear what I can't put into words? Does my inability to speak mean my prayer ends there? In these quiet moments, a big question comes up. If I can't speak, does God still listen? Is silence an empty space, or is it a special place where God comes even closer to us? Sometimes, silence is all we have to give, and yet it can say more than 1,000 words. The truth is, prayer doesn't need perfect words or fancy speaking, otherwise you wouldn't be speaking in tongues. It's not about how pretty our sentences are, but how honest our heart is. Prayer is most of all a connection, an invisible link that joins us to God, even when we can't say a single word. God doesn't expect us to be great speakers or always find the right words. He hears the quiet cries of our heart, the deep sighs, the silent tears. He understands the pain that can't be said, the shy hopes, and even the silent doubts. David in the Psalms said, "I was silent, but my heart was burning within me." Psalm 39:3. My heart was burning. Let's pause for a moment. The same David declared, "As a man thinks in his heart, so is he." This means that, even in silence, you are forced to focus your thoughts on what you truly desire. Your silence isn't a wall, but a bridge to a deeper closeness with the one who knows your heart even before you speak. In silence, God is there, listening, ready to take everything you carry, even what you can't say. Don't be afraid of silence. Sometimes it's the truest language of prayer. Silence isn't an absence, it's not an empty space. Silence can be a language. Sometimes it's in silence that our heart cries the loudest. God looks at your heart. The heart is where emotions from your thoughts come from, so it's super important to control your thoughts and only focus on the good stuff. In short, avoid negative thoughts with all your might. God reads your heart, not just your mouth. In the same way, the Spirit helps us in our weakness. We do not know what we ought to pray for, but the Spirit Himself intercedes for us through wordless groans. Romans 8:26. God hears your sighs. He sees what you can't express. Because God isn't limited to your voice, He reads your heart. And, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. This reminds us that our thoughts shape our reality. If we grow positive and kind thoughts, they will show in our actions and our surroundings. On the other hand, negative thoughts can pull us into a spiral of doubt and worry. So, it's very important to feed our minds with ideas and beliefs that lift our souls and make our faith stronger in ourselves and in the future. O Lord, you hear the desire of the afflicted. You encourage them, and you listen to their cry. Psalm 10:17. Even when our lips are closed, our soul can cry out, sigh, hope. God sees every beat, every tremble, every secret desire. Like a parent who understands their child's tears without a word being said, God sees our silent pain. He knows the sadness hidden behind a smile, the tiredness in a look, the silent prayer of a broken heart. He answers with endless kindness, wrapping His tenderness around our weaknesses. Even our silences have meaning, and God understands them better than anyone. Sometimes all we can offer is our heavy heart. This too is a prayer. Our sighs, our hesitations, our fears, and our hopes become silent offerings, precious in God's eyes. In these vulnerable moments, a simple tear, a deep breath, or a look towards the sky can say more than 1,000 words. God welcomes everything we give to Him, even what we don't know how to say. In silence, we declare our trust. I can't fix this, but I trust you. This silence isn't empty, but a holy space where faith grows, where hope is renewed. Let your silence be a prayer, a secret talk between your soul and the Creator, a space where you can be fully yourself without masks or fear. May your tears be a song of trust, a language God understands perfectly, a prayer that rises to Him without sound but with immense strength. Remember this: silence is not a punishment, it's a waiting room. God hears the whispers of your silent heart more clearly than any words. He reads your thoughts, knows your needs, and answers with love. He doesn't expect perfect sentences. He expects you to turn to Him, to open your heart to Him, even when you're not perfect and feel weak. In this holy exchange, you are heard, understood, and loved beyond measure. Even in silence, you are never alone. God is there, listening, ready to comfort you and walk with you step by step in every moment of your life. The Bible is full of times when silence becomes prayer, when not speaking carries a holy weight. In these moments, silence isn't empty but full of meaning, faith, and expectation. It becomes a secret language between the soul and God, a place where you stand openly before the divine, without pretense, without noise. Hannah in the temple prayed silently, her lips moving without a sound. Her heart cried out what her voice couldn't express. They even thought she was drunk. 1 Samuel 1:13. God, who sees beyond what's on the surface, heard Hannah's silent prayer and answered her, proving that even our quiet sighs are precious in His eyes. David, the psalmist, had times when he couldn't find the words. When he was in trouble or amazed, he often turned to God in deep silence. I was silent, but my heart was burning within me. Psalm 39:3. My heart was burning. Let's pause for a moment. The same David said, "As a man thinks in his heart, so is he." This means that even in silence you are forced to focus your thoughts on what you truly want. Jesus, in the Garden of Gethsemane, felt the deepest pain. His prayer was made of tears, silence, and surrender. He shared a silent connection with the Father, where every heartbeat, every breath was an offering. In this silence, he found the strength to accept God's will, showing that the most powerful prayer sometimes doesn't need words. Zechariah was unable to speak for 9 months before his son John the Baptist was born, Luke 1:20-22, and went through a time of forced silence, but he kept praying. This time of reflection, far from being a punishment, was a chance for him to think deeply, grow in faith, and prepare his heart to welcome the miracle without saying a word. His silence became a holy space for inner change. These Bible stories remind us that God listens beyond words. He hears silent prayers, secret thoughts, and hidden desires. Silence is an invitation to a deeper relationship where we learn to trust the one who already knows everything about us. It's a way of telling God, I don't have the words, but I trust in you. In the quiet, the soul opens, and God's presence becomes more real, more tangible. Our wordless seasons, those times when silence reigns, are invitations to a deeper faith. They teach us to listen, to wait, to hope. In silence, God speaks, comforts, and changes us. It is there, in the echo of silence, that prayer becomes a meeting. Silence isn't empty. It's a language God understands. When we're quiet, we make a special place for God to be with us. Your best prayer is a quiet one, full of faith. You can just sit, close your eyes, and breathe. In the quiet, let your heart talk to God. Here are some simple ways to pray silently. Look at a lit candle and think about His light in your life. Repeat just one word in your heart. Thank you, help me, I love you. Listen, let God talk to you, not with words but with His peace. Silence isn't a weakness. Sometimes it's the loudest cry. God doesn't need words to know us. He reads our hearts. The Lord looks past what's on the outside to the honesty inside. A quiet and humble heart moves Him more than fancy, empty prayers. We should always remember that God sees our thoughts and hears our feelings. You don't need perfect words or deep theology, just a heart turned towards God. When words fail us, the Holy Spirit steps in for us with groans that can't be put into words. Our silence isn't empty. It's like a blank canvas for the Spirit's perfect prayer. The Spirit takes our deepest needs and makes them fit God's plan. Even when we don't know what to pray for, God hears what our hearts truly want. Our weakness turns into a team effort with the Spirit's strength. In silence, the Spirit gives a voice to the deepest cries of our soul. How do you pray when words are out of reach? Move from speaking to just being. Focus on your breathing. Breathe in God's peace. Breathe out your burdens. Write your thoughts as a silent offering. Most importantly, listen. Ask God what He wants to say, and wait in stillness. Silent, receptive listening is deep communion. In these moments, you're not just talking to God, you are truly with Him. Quiet times can test our faith, but they're also chances to grow deeper roots. Guard your mind from doubt. Swap bad thoughts with God's promises. Remember how faithful God has been and keep a gratitude journal to change how you see things. Faith isn't about not having doubts, but trusting God even when you do. God is always close. His presence doesn't depend on our words. God is never deaf. He is never absent. Even when you feel nothing, He is there. Even when you doubt, He is faithful. Your silence is not a problem for Him. He is your Father. He knows you better than you know yourself. And sometimes, It's in this silence that God works most deeply in you. It's in these quiet moments that you are asked to listen with your heart. Faith isn't just measured by words or feelings, but by that quiet trust that supports you when everything seems to fall apart. Remember that every challenge is a chance to grow and make your connection with God stronger. Grow patience and hope, because they will help you through tough times. And never forget that you are loved and guided, even when you have doubts. He understands every tear, sigh, and quiet plea. The Holy Spirit helps, turning the groans of your heart into perfect prayer. God is never deaf. He is never absent. Even when you feel nothing, He is there. Even when you doubt, He is faithful. Your silence is not a problem for Him. He is your Father. He knows you better than you know yourself. And sometimes it's in this silence that God works most deeply in you. It's in these quiet moments that you are asked to listen with your heart. Remember that every challenge is a chance to grow and make your connection with God stronger. Grow patience and hope, because they will help you through tough times. And never forget that you are loved and guided, even when you have doubts. If you don't know how to pray anymore, just sit there quietly. Think about what you want. And remember, God hears you. He sees you. He loves you. If this message spoke to you, feel free to share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And subscribe for more words of encouragement and faith. See you next Thursday. God bless you.